2025 is going to be an absolutely massive year for the cozy gamers. And if you're like me and you get a little bit overwhelmed at the beginning of the year trying to keep track of what's coming up, what are we most excited about, I decided to categorize 50 cozy games that are coming out this year and make kind of like a cozy gaming guide. I categorized the games so you could find the ones you actually want to play, the ones you actually want to buy, and maybe which games you can skip. Whether you like farming sim games, narrative games, or something kind of in between, I promise there's at least one game you'll like in this video. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Peyton. It is nice to meet you. It is nice to see you, and welcome to the corner. Alright, you heard it all already. We're categorizing all of the cozy games that I'm most interested in coming out in 2025. It's worth noting that many of these games do not have official release dates yet. A lot of the games you'll see are just kind of to be determined some point in 2025, but I've put all of the information that at the time of recording is currently available. It'll be on the screen. You don't need to fish for it. You want to know if it's coming to Nintendo Switch? I gotcha. You want to know what month it's coming out? If we know, it's here. Also, it's worth noting sometimes games get delayed or pushed, and if that happens, it's not my fault. I take no responsibility. And even though I'm categorizing these games into different sections, some of the games fit more than one, but I did my best to organize them how I saw fit. Before we get into it, please be sure to click the lovely little like button, as well as subscribe for more cozy gaming content. And if you want to see me play cozy games live, I live stream right here on YouTube and over on Twitch. We'd love to see you to stream. Okay, I'll shut up and let's get into our very first category, which is the farming sim games. They're my favorite, and presumably some of your favorites. The very first game on the list is one you do not have to wait that long for because it is coming out in January. It's called Dreaming Isles. It was actually supposed to come out in 2024. You may or may not have seen my live stream testing it a few months ago, but the game was actually delayed so that the developer could put some more time and energy into it, and now it's coming out for its full release in January. In case you missed it or you've never heard of it before, Dreaming Isles is a wholesome farm and life sim that combines high-sea adventure, relationship building, Zelda-like exploration, and sword and sorcery. Pretty much it's got all of the things you love about a farming sim, but gives it a pirate and high seas twist. I'm really excited to see how this game has developed since the first time I played it. I thought it had a lot of potential, but didn't feel quite finished, so I'm excited to see the changes and what it's like now that it's going to be fully launching. So, the next game is kind of like farming sim adjacent. It's not really a farming sim, but it's close enough. It's called Grimoire Groves, which is actually a cozy roguelite dungeon crawling game. But it's a roguelite cozy dungeon crawling game that's all about growing cute little plant creatures, so in my brain, it's farming enough. Pretty much, you'll join the witches in their quest to restore the Grimoire Groves, and you'll do so by growing a collection of adorable little garden monsters. You'll do that and also befriend mythical creatures and unravel the mystery of the rainbow socks. I don't know that I fully understand everything that's gonna be going on in this one, but I've played the demo before and it is wildly fun and a great way to introduce cozy gamers into this style of game if you've never played it before. The furry feet lovers can finally rejoice because they finally have a farming sim for them. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. Lord of the Rings fans, please don't come for me in the comments. Today, we're talking about Tales of the Shire, which is actually a cozy game that is set in the Lord of the Rings, specifically the Hobbit universe. But don't worry, if you're like me, you don't need to know anything about Lord of the Rings or the Hobbit to enjoy this game, though if you are a part of those fandoms, you will potentially really like this, hopefully. So it is a cozy game that sees you playing as a hobbit, and you're setting forth your life in Bywater, which is a village that's not quite considered a village yet. It's your job to help the village thrive and be declared an official place, okay? And you're gonna do that by gardening, fishing, foraging, getting to know the townsfolk, but mainly you're gonna do so by cooking and sharing meals. This game is really interesting. It was supposed to come out in 2024, but it was delayed because they wanted to add some more stuff to the game. I did get to play a preview of the game. It actually exists on the channel. You could see my first hour or so of gameplay. I was really hesitant going into the game because I didn't really love some of the visual elements of the game, and I was worried it was going to be a little clunky. My playthrough of the sneak peek I got was not perfect, but I actually enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. And I thought overall that the game may actually be a lot more unique and interesting than I hoped it was going to be. So I'm really excited to see if them delaying the release adds some more sugar, spice, everything nice to this game, and it really can stand out in all of the farming sims coming out in 2025. If you've ever played Stardew Valley and thought to yourself, yes, I love this, but I want to play as Pierre, well, now you can in this game, which is called Sugardew Island. Okay, I'm kidding, but what I mean is that you get to be the person to run your very own farm shop. So you're not just the farmer in this game. Yes, you will be tending to your crops and growing them, but you'll also be the one selling them in this game. So the days of a shipping bin are long behind us. It's boring, we've been there, we've done that, so now we're going to sell our gosh darn goods ourselves. In addition to that, Sugardew Island also has tons of adventure and magic and really cute animals, and pretty much it just seems like a cozy game that is going to put a little bit of a twist on the classic farm sim that we know and love. Will this be the third year in a row that Fantasy Life, The Girl Who Steals Time, is delayed? Gosh, I hope not. After being pushed back multiple times, Fantasy Life, The Girl Who Steals Time is supposed to come out in 2025. In case you're new to Fantasy Life, it actually is a beloved Nintendo franchise that is planning to make its debut on the Switch. More specifically, probably the Switch 2. This game is all about beginning a fantastic life on a ruined island, where you'll get to embark on a great adventure into the past. You'll gather friends, craft, and build your own city. This is a completely new entry to the Fantasy Life series. If you're unfamiliar with the game, it's a perfect time to get into it, and if you're a big fan of the franchise, great, because here's another new game. From what I understand about this game, the main draw is that you get to pick what your profession is. So you get to choose from these different professions, and there's super fun ones like artist and farmer and things like that, and you run the game with your own specific job. There's combat and adventure in the game, but there's also a big amount of decorating and even terraforming. Is this technically a farming sim? That's debatable, but since farming is included as something you can do in this game, I decided it was farming sim enough for this category. I really hope this game comes out, and not only that, I hope it's absolutely fantastic because it seems like it has it all. I'm really excited to play this one, and I think it could be a really huge moment for cozy gamers. Sticking with Nintendo here for a second, we have another huge new game coming out. It's Rune Factory Guardians of AZUMA. This is another game similar to Fantasy Life that is a part of a very beloved franchise. One that I actually have never played, but this one I'm really excited about. So this is an all-new Rune Factory game. A Rune Factory reimagined game, if you will. Guardians of AZUMA is an all-new adventure that takes place in the never-before-seen eastern country of AZUMA. you'll get to embrace your Earth Dancer powers and fight against the corruption spreading throughout AZUMA to bring back hope to this once prosperous land. As an Earth Dancer, you'll use the power of dance, sacred treasures, and fresh weapons like the bow and talisman to purify the land, your farms, it's farming, and undo the blight's damage. But you won't just mine the farm, you're going to rebuild entire villages. You'll construct and place buildings, enticing people to return to the villages and contribute. You'll revive the gods to bring vitality and valuable resources back to the plagued lands. You'll experience beautiful Japanese-inspired characters and designs and aesthetics. There's gonna be festivals, events, monsters, beauty, scary things, all of the in-between. And if you're me, if you're Peyton's Corner, your favorite part, there is romance in the game, and there are fully voiced scenarios. So who knows how spicy this is going to get. It has a nice mix of combat, story, decorative elements, farming. This feels like the Rune Factory game I finally want to get in on and play, and I think that's going to be the case for a lot of cozy gamers this year. Next up is PIXELSHIRE, which is the pixel art farming sim game of my dreams. This was another game that was supposed to come out in 2024, but it was pushed back so it could be even better in 2025. On its surface, it really seems like it's just your average farm sim game. But what's really cool about this one, and it's the one thing that's been super exciting for me to see, is this is a pixel art game where you actually can terraform the world around you. You'll be able to shape PIXELSHIRE's land any way you want, carving rivers or creating beautiful hills wherever you please. Along with that, you'll have all of your usual farming sim stuff. There's mining, there's cooking, there's a little bit of everything, and when I look at the art style of this game, I am just reminded how much I love pixel art, and this one seems like it's going to take everything we love in a pixel farm game, but then give us a million more things, and give us a lot of creativity. Next up is Tales of SEIKYU, which is not any old farming sim game. It's a farming sim game where your farmer can actually shapeshift into magical yokai forms, and the different forms will help you manage your homestead. This game looks like it has everything you love about a farming sim game, or I'm being presumptuous, everything I love. There's romance, farming, that good stuff, but you can do all of this really cool magic shapeshifting. It looks like such a fun world. I don't know much about yokai, but I'm really interested to learn and experience this game. I think it really is going to do something different, and overall, I really like what I'm seeing so far. If you're familiar with the cozy game Sticky Business, you may be very excited for this one because the developers are moving on from a sticker shop game to a magical farming game. This one is called Ritual of Raven, and it is a story-driven farming sim game where your character uses arcana constructs to be able to grow your crops. Not only that, but it really seems like there's going to be a creative element to this game. Even just looking at the trailer, we can see some of the designs that are from Sticky Business, and we can see that we're going to be able to decorate our farm pretty cutely. So I think this is going to be a really fun, aesthetically pleasing magic farming sim game. If you've ever wanted a cottagecore type bunny farming sim game, well, now you have it. It's called CINNABUNNY. This is not just a farming sim. It definitely has life sim elements, but because there's farming in it, it's here in this category. You're a bunny, there's a drought, you needed to move your family to a place and hopefully help them flourish, and you do so by farming, cooking, exploring the nature, collecting mushrooms, and finding all the different species around you. This game looks so adorable, I can't even take it. I don't need to say much more, just look at it. Bunny farming sim game. It's coming out this year. Next up is definitely farming, but with a twist, because this game is much more tea shop narrative game than it is farming. But you are farming for your ingredients, so here it is in this category. But this game is called WANDERSTOP, which follows your character who is a fallen fighter now running their very own tea shop. You'll need to harvest all of the materials you need to make the very best kind of tea for all of the traveling NPCs that are around, and you'll need to make sure you're serving them the right tea. You'll get to decorate your tea shop and uncover this dark narrative of your character's past while also learning about all of the other characters in the game. I love making tea in real life so much, so any cozy game that includes tea, I'm always a little bit more excited, and I love that we're farming for a reason in this game, so it might not be what you traditionally think of when you think of farming, but keep this one in the back of your head. The frog lovers of the world may just find their favorite cozy game in Frog Island, which is an upcoming game that sees your character wake up on a deserted island that's, I don't want to say infested because that sounds kind of negative. They're not like roaches, but it's covered in frogs. You need to find your way off of the island by becoming one with the frogs. You need to explore and collect pretty much all of the frogs you can find while also taking care of them. And you'll do so by farming and cooking. This game has the most adorable, cozy, illustrated style. It really looks like it's going to be a very wholesome experience. I love that we're kind of creature collecting in this one while still farming and experiencing everything. This game just looks like too cute to handle, I think. You are a rancher by day and a vampire by night in Vampire Rancher, which is a farming sim game where you guessed it, you are a vampire. In addition to farming, crafting, and exploring, building up the town, you also have a desire to suck some blood and explore some vampire ruins. You'll also be able to make yourself into a bat. So if you've ever wanted to play like a vampire farm game in 2025, you got it. If you've ever wanted to farm but in the sky, Sally is one of several cozy games that will allow you to do just that. This farming and life sim game takes place on a floating ship in the sky. And not only can you farm and explore your ship, but there are tons of floating islands for you to explore as well, tons of characters for you to meet, and a whole big old world to explore. Also, just like having a ship in the sky, that sounds pretty cool. You won't have to wait too long for this next farming sim because BORDERTOWN actually comes out this month. This RPG and farming sim game is set in a fantastical world where your village has been overrun by orcs, so you gotta get them out of there. Also, you gotta build up your town, farm, and get to know tons of NPC stories. I know this game is being developed by a solo developer, which I always think is so fun. I love the art style of this game, and most notably, you can ride on your animals, which I think just looks absolutely precious, and this seems like a great option if you want farming, but you want a little bit of a fantastical twist. GAUCHO and the GRASSLAND is a farming sim where you play as a Latin cowboy, or cowgirl too, and you'll get to farm, raise animals, do some lassoing, meet NPCs, but mainly it is an adventure where you'll get to save the legends of Latin folklore. Now we're gonna get into some of our highly ambitious farming sim games coming out this year, starting with SOLARPUNK, which is a solarpunk farming sim game that's not just farming, it's farming and survival, and you guessed it, it's set in the sky. You'll actually be able to play this one either by yourself or with your friends. You'll get to explore, farm, decorate, and pretty much make your own airship in the sky using some recycling techniques. You can see here we have some solar panels. This is not the only game that has a big influence on solar and recycling and being green, but this is definitely a very long-awaited game for many. It looks absolutely stunning, and I can't wait to see how it turns out. Continuing on with another ambitious floating island game. This one's called FLOATOPIA, and you guessed it, it's set on an island in the sky. And this one, the whole twist of it is, everyone has superpowers? I don't really know much about what those superpowers are, but this one is another farming sim game that's not just farming, there's life sim elements. This one has a really big focus on decoration. It looks like you can really build and customize and make things as adorable as you want them to be. The aesthetics of this game are some of the cutest, coziest things I have ever seen. This game, I believe, will allow you to play multiplayer as well. You'll be able to change the weather, you'll be able to interact with all of the NPCs, and really just have a cozy, crazy looking time. If this game is anywhere near as good as I hope it is, it may just be one of the greatest cozy games ever. Now I bet you can't guess what's coming next. That's right, it's another highly ambitious island in the sky farming sim game. This one is called LOFTIA, which is supposed to start early access in 2025, according to their initial roadmap from their Kickstarter. LOFTIA, okay, so yes, it's another floating island in the sky. This one is an MMO, massively multiplayer online, so you will get to play along with your friends. And LOFTIA, like SOLARPUNK, is another game that is going to put a recycling and SOLARPUNK kind of vibe into farming. This game looks so adorable. I really like the hydroponic farming that we're seeing, as well as the bit of design. This one, while it's also on a floating island, it seems like it's more town-based, like it's pretty clear there is an official town. And this one also has the vibe of kind of like a study and be productive game too. Like, as you can see here, you can put on tasks that you need to do, like in real life tasks. This game seems like it's going to have a little bit of everything. I know they just started alpha testing this game, so hoping they're on track to still have this come out for early access in 2025. I really think this is going to be a huge staple in the cozy gaming genre. Now on to our final floating island in the sky game, PUFFPALS Island Skies. I would say this is the biggest game, and this is also the last in our farming sim category. PUFFPALS Island Skies is supposed to, according to their initial roadmap, start early access in 2025. We're gonna keep our fingers crossed that that actually happens. But this is one of the most highly anticipated cozy games. This game first launched their Kickstarter a few years ago, and it pretty much looks like an Animal Crossing, but in the sky but with farming. Your character is a human, but you're on a floating island with a bunch of adorable animals, and not only will you get to farm, but you'll do cozy quests for them, and you'll get to do quite a bit of decorating. What makes this game so unique is a lot of things, I think, but my favorite thing is that this game is made by a people called Fluff Nest, and they also sell plushies, and the plushies are actually in the game. So if you really like plushies and you really like farming sim games, this is definitely one to keep on your list. Moving on, if you hate farming sims, maybe this is the first category you're watching in the video, hello. These are other simulation type games or management games that do not include farming. We're kicking off this category with my most highly anticipated cozy game of January and one of them of the year. This game is called Hello Kitty Island Adventure, which actually came out last year, I believe, and it was just for Apple Arcade. and I strongly considered giving Apple my money just so I could play this game, but I held off in anticipation for this moment where I would be able to play it on my PC or on my Nintendo Switch. Hello Kitty Island Adventure is an open world, Sanrio character-filled exploration, crafting, decorating. What do you call this life sim? The life sim of my dreams is what you call it. It looks like there's a little bit of gardening in it, but I was hesitant to call this a farming sim game because I don't think you can actually farm. Pretty much, it's an adventure game where you can go around helping all of the different adorable NPCs, from quests that are very cozy to quests that are kind of epic, and mainly it seems it's going to be a big game for decorating and crafting. This game looks like it has a little bit of everything, and everyone I know who has played this game absolutely loves it, so I'm so excited. A lot more of us are gonna get to play it this January. This next game started out as a meme for me. Like, I was kind of joking about this game for a while and being excited about it as a joke, but I fear that the joke is no longer a joke and I am just genuinely over the moon for this absolutely ridiculous game. It's called Date Everything, which is a dating simulation game where pretty much you're going around and you're finding these inanimate objects, but the inanimate objects actually turn into hotties, so you could like romance your vacuum, or you could like romance a personification of existential dread. I heard that this game is gonna be a little bit spicy, so I'm not quite sure what to expect, but this game just seems so absolutely silly, stupid, but amazing. Incredible. I love the character designs, and I've never seen anything like this, so I'm really excited about it. The next game is one where I admittedly do not have a lot of background info on, but I know that a lot of people are really, really excited about it, which makes me really, really excited about it. It's called 2 Point Museum, and this is a management and simulation game where you get to curate and run your own museum. This game looks so fun because there is an array of different exhibits you can make in your museum, from dinosaurs to scary monsters to ancient artifacts. It looks like you will be able to make a lot of different types of exhibits, and there are going to be a lot of guests for you to manage. This game just seems really unique and fun. I don't think I've ever played a museum curation game before, so I'm really excited to see what all of the hype is about. Okay, I know I have been saying this about a lot of the games on this list, but I mean it when I say this is one of my favorite ones that is coming out this year. I can't wait. It's called Discounty. And Discounty is a game where you're not running a farm, you're running a supermarket. And you're taking your small supermarket discount store from cute and quaint little thing to, wow, it's a big supermarket empire. You're going to be able to design and manage your supermarket and grow it and maybe face some environmental repercussions because you're kind of like, I don't know, destroying the climate and taking advantage of people as you're like building your empire. This game definitely is cozy, but with a twist. It feels really quirky and really, really fun, and I personally cannot wait to check it out. Tiny Bookshop is a game I have been putting in videos for a very long time, and it's finally coming out in 2025. As the name suggests, you are going to be running your very own tiny bookshop. You're going to be curating what types of books you sell, and hopefully picking out ones that your customers like, all while doing so in the tiniest little movable bookshop. You'll get to go from town to different climates, the beach, the mountains, whatever, selling all of the books of your dreams and the customer's dreams. This game is so beautiful and aesthetically pleasing. Not only will you get to customize the type of books that you sell, but you'll also get to customize your actual bookshop as well. This one is a big one, not just for me, but for a lot of cozy gamers. The demo came out in 2024. I loved it. I played it. I cannot wait to play more. TOWNSEEK is a management game that is unlike anything I've ever seen before. It's actually a cozy, relaxing, trading management game where you're flying around in a balloon, going from place to place, looking to trade with the people who run that individual spot. It is full of whimsy and joy. I played the demo of this one a while ago too. I remember there being like a chocolate bunny island and things like that. It definitely has quirky, fun characters with really quirky and fun items, and pretty much you just go around trading and trading different resources. You're trying to collect a bunch of stuff. This one is one I've been really excited about for a while because I think it feels really unique. BAO'S Cozy Laundromat may just be the game that finally gets me into idle games. This game looks like the most precious thing I've ever seen. In case you're not familiar with idle games, they were really popular in 2024. These are games that they exist while you do other things. Specifically, this is one of those games that can be at the bottom of your computer screen while you do other things. This one specifically is about pandas, and you're running a little panda laundromat. So you can customize and manage it. It's really chill and low-key. There is a lo-fi soundtrack that goes along with the game to help get you in the most cozy mood possible. I don't often run to idle games. I tried a few last year, and I just couldn't get myself to actually open them. This one might be it for me, though. This might be the one that does it. Little Sim World is a life sim that honestly doesn't feel so little. It's actually set in London, so if you're used to a rural life sim with not a lot going on, this will be a nice change because it's actually set in a city. Not only will you be able to customize your character and the spaces around you quite a bit, but you'll get to experience the city life. There are lots of buildings you can go to, there's restaurants, there's a gym, you can even have a job in the game, which is pretty interesting. You'll get to know a cast of fun NPCs and also manage your character to make sure you're actually living your life, like make sure you're eating and things like that. It's pretty much a life sim in London. I'm excited to see what that's like. I'm from New Jersey. I've never been to London. How London is it going to be? Will the London people say if it actually feels like London? I want to know. We'll see. Wish Upon a Llama feels like it should be a farming sim game, but it's not. It's an animal breeding and ranching life sim. So if you like the vibe of a farm sim, but you don't really care about farming, this might just be for you. This feels like Fields of Mysteria, but if we're just breeding animals. This game I've been so excited about for so long. It has such a beautiful pastel aesthetic. I love how adorable the animals look. I love all of the color variants. I am so excited that this game is finally coming out. I feel like it's been one of the ones that's been in the back of my head for so very long. You can romance people, of course, explore the gorgeous town, and really just live your animal ranching life. On the surface, Magic Inn looks like every other Magic-based, management game that came out last year, but this one has some things that make it stand out. Yes, it is another tavern management game where you play as someone with magic, but I think this one is kind of interesting because it has these card-based interactions that you use to get to know people, which I think is really interesting. I always love card-based mechanics in games. And not only that, the magic in this game also includes ghosts, so you can kind of hang out with ghosts. I'm interested to see what sets this one apart even more than the previous food management witchy games of the past, but I do think this one has some promise. COMMUNITE is a wholesome city-building game that you get to do with your friends. Yes, finally, a multiplayer, cozy game where you can go wild and build the little world of your dreams. As you build by tile, you will get animals and new little friends to join your world. It seems like a wholesome, adorable, colorful, and vibrant time. I know that the Sims community is shaking in anticipation for PARALIVES, which seems as though it may be a competitor to the Sims games. Now, I'm not very well versed in the Sims universe, okay? But I do know that PARALIVES promises to be a very in-depth life sim game. Not only will you have a very detailed character customizer, but there'll be a lot that you can do as far as building, as far as managing your Sims, like so much. It really to me just seems like a new version of The Sims, but different. There seems like there's a lot of really cool places to explore and lots of cool things to build. Maybe this will be the thing that finally gets me into a game like this. Who knows? Regardless if you're a Sims player or not, I think the existence of this game is really exciting because we haven't seen a lot of really big mainstream life sim games like this other than The Sims. So excited to see a new game to kind of shake things up. Now, tons of cozy games like to claim they're Studio Ghibli-esque, but honestly, not that many of them are. This one, though, is, I think. This one's called Hotel Galactic, and yes, it's a Studio Ghibli-inspired management game. This one, you are running your own hotel, of course, like the name suggests. You are going to be responsible for not only laying out the rooms, but pretty much everything that goes into the hotel. You are an adorable little creature. I don't know if you can customize yourself or you're just this one creature. I don't know. It looks just so fun. I'm hoping this fulfills kind of like what I wanted Bear and Breakfast to be, which is another cozy game that you get to run a little hotel. This one feels like it is just full of so much enchantment, nostalgic vibes. I love how the world looks. It seems like it's going to be exploratory and not just solely management. And it really feels like we're going to be in for an adventure with this one. The next game is called Craft Fantasy Merchant Simulator, and I was torn between putting this in the simulator category or later in the video when I talk about very narrative-driven games, but since simulator is in the name, I thought this was probably the best place for it. In this game, you are going to be making cute little, fantasy objects for people. You're crafting them together, and as you do so, you're unlocking more stories from the different characters you meet. It has a very colorful cast of characters, and your decisions in the game matter. Apparently, there are different outcomes based off of how you make things, which is my favorite type of game. This game just looks super cute and fun. I really like the art style and how the characters look, and it comes out pretty early in the year, so we don't have to wait too long for it. Okay, this last one, it really isn't a life sim or a management game, but it didn't fit into the other categories, so just shut up. Okay, it's Pokemon Legends specifically, Z to A, which is the next big Pokemon game that is supposed to come out at some point this year. We do not know a whole heck of a lot about this game. It has only been teased very slightly, but it is a Pokemon Legends game, so if you're familiar with other Legends games like Legends of Arceus, it's gonna be another one of those. But this one has a very city and neon futuristic style to it. I'm someone who is new to the Pokemon series. I'm just starting to get into Pokemon, but I am so excited for this game. If it looks anything like this first trailer that we got to see, oh my god, it might be the coolest Pokemon game out there. I say as someone who has very limited experience. Some people might question whether or not Pokemon is considered cozy, but I personally think there's nothing cozier than collecting cute little creatures that I can use to fight other cute creatures. We may not know when this game is coming out, but we have very high hopes it will be this year, and whenever it does come out, I'm very excited about it. Next up, we have our puzzle games and/or our platforming games. We're kicking off this category with ROOSTER, a story-driven puzzle game that is all about the Chinese zodiac. ROOSTER is like a little crazy bad boy, okay? And he pretty much is exiled by the other zodiac signs. And it's your job through a series of puzzles and story to get in all of the other characters' good graces. It features an absolutely stunning art style and a beautiful Chinese influence. I cannot wait to play this game. I think it is such a fun and unique premise, and it's a puzzle game that is story-driven. So if you don't like just a plain old puzzle, this one is definitely a puzzle with purpose. NOMORI is a mind-bending puzzle and platforming game that's all about controlling time. You are pretty much exploring this beautiful, spirit world, and you're controlling how the world around you moves as you go through and solve various puzzles. What is so interesting to me about this game, other than the really pleasing color palette, is I love how satisfying it looks to move objects to your will, and it seems like there is going to be multiple ways to solve puzzles, which I think makes a game way more fun. TOKONI Forest Keepers is a puzzle, adventure, narrative game that's all about a little forest spirit who is trying to make sure all of the animals around them get their stuff done in order for it to become winter. It's fall time in the game, and you have to go around helping all types of people with their tasks to make sure they're ready for the winter time. It features an adorable art style and really just has good vibes. Beacon Patrol is a cozy puzzle game where you're pretty much laying tiles to complete the most complete map. You'll get to move your ship and get to make a whole little world around you. You'll get to play this game in many different ways, either playing it by yourself or with your friends. It offers different modes so you can do different challenges, or just enjoy the creative mode and see what kind of world you can create. A CORGI'S Cozy Hike is a platforming game that aims to help real-life dogs, because when you buy the game, 10% of the proceeds will actually go to helping animal shelters. We love a cozy game with a mission. This one is pretty simple. It's a vibrant game where you're playing as a corgi, and you get to explore a bite-sized open world, hiking as you please. You'll get to talk to locals, go on little missions, and collect so many different things, all while enjoying the beautiful world and getting into chaos as a corgi. Potentially the most frustrating game on this list is Wall of Waiting, which is a narrative puzzle game that is all about the art of patience. In each scenario, you will learn to wait. You're gonna learn to wait. It's a comedic game that seems to have a deep purpose, showing different scenarios from birth to death about instances where you may need to wait for something. I think this game is going to be so funny, and I think it's going to be surprisingly meaningful and deep, and I just wonder if I have the patience for it. Now, I may be pronouncing the name of this next one wrong, so I apologize for that, but I'm gonna give it my best go with KOIRA, which is a story-driven puzzle game where you are traversing a magical musical forest alongside your dog, and it's your job to meet all of the different woodland creatures and mainly find your way home while avoiding mysterious hunters that lurk in the shadows. EB Tapes is an adventure where you will get to solve puzzles all based on music. You'll get to explore this beautiful hand-drawn, I call it crayon-style world, by making mixtapes for people and mainly trying to save the local music festival. This game looks so unique in its style and is perfect if you want to jam out and have a chill time. Tiny Lands 2, the sequel to Tiny Lands, but don't worry, you don't need to have played Tiny Lands to play this one. It's a spot the difference game, but it's a very aesthetically pleasing spot the difference game, okay? Normally, I'm gonna be so for real with you. I don't really care for Spot the Difference games, because I think they're all the same in their mechanic. But this one, what's really interesting and exciting to me is how visually stunning this 3D art style is, and how you have the ability to fully like zoom in and rotate these dioramas to really get in there and see what could be different. It looks much more complex than some other Spot the Difference games I've played in the past, and really I just think this seems like a really relaxing time, but still difficult enough where I'll actually want to get in on the puzzle of it. We need a rodent game on every cozy game list, and here it is. It's Squeak Ross Home Squeak Home, which is a puzzle game that is also a decorating game. You're solving these different numerical puzzles in order to make furniture for your rat friend, and it's like pretty extensive as far as the different types of furniture you can make. What I'm interested in this game is the fact that you can customize it to give you easy hints, difficult hints, so if you're not that into numbers, you can still play and make furniture for your little rodent. It looks really silly and like a lot of fun. We are cheating with the last game in this category because this game is not confirmed for 2025, but they just launched the trailer, and maybe if I put it in this video, it'll manifest a 2025 release date. This game is called Restitched, and if this game comes out this year, it will become my entire personality. Restitched is a platforming game that, like, let's just call it what it is. This is heavily inspired by my favorite game of all time, Little Big Planet, which is a platforming game where you are a cute little dude. Specifically in that game, you're a sack boy. In this game, you seem to be a stuffed animal. And you go through these really cute levels, but the real draw of it is you can build your own levels, and there are community levels that you can play online. There is a story mode to the game, but I think the real cool thing is the community levels because they get so in-depth. This game looks like it is picking up from where Little Big Planet left off, which to my knowledge, Sony has stopped making. And if they're gonna not make it, I'm kind of okay with someone else putting their own twist on this style of game. What I love about this game is it looks just so creative. If you're not into platforming games, this one may be a good one to try because it's not just simple platforming. There really are so many mechanics you can add, and the vibes of the game can feel so diverse depending on what type of level you're playing. There's also so much customization for your character as well, and a great bit of collecting. Oh my god, I cannot wait for this game, so let's all cross our fingers that we'll see it in 2025. And the final category are visual novel games. First up, we have Ribby, which is actually labeling itself as an RPG game, but it also is a choose-your-own-adventure game, so I put it here instead of the previous categories. It's about an altruistic frog girl called Ribby who is pretty much trying to find themselves and find their way home. It seems like it is going to have a little bit of a serious note mixed into it, and it just seems like a really interesting story, and even more so, a really, really interesting art style. I think this game hits on so much nostalgia, and I'm really excited to experience it. Next up, we're getting a new Duck Detective game. This one is called The Ghost of Glamping. In case you didn't play the first Duck Detective game that came out last year, which was called Duck Detective The Secret... something about the secret salami, it was such a fun game. This is going to be a new version with a new story and new characters. Duck Detective is a fully voice-acted mystery game where you're presented with a case and you need to get to the bottom of it. You need to investigate different clues and all of the different characters in the game to make your final verdict on who you think done it, okay? I'm so excited to play even more Duck Detective. It seems like this game is a little bit longer than the first one, so I cannot wait to get back into this world. This next one is called Mushroom Musume, which I've never heard anyone talk about. I discovered this scrolling on Steam. This game looks crazy, but I'm interested. It is a simulator and visual novel game where you are raising a mushroom. You're raising like a mushroom daughter, and you get to choose like these different cards to kind of determine her fate. And you have a bunch of different endings that you can get. It is a mature game. It seems like there are some deep content subjects in this, but it looks so interesting, like raising a mushroom and kind of dictating their life. Like we can commit murder or fall in love or really take the story a bunch of different ways. And we gotta end it with my most highly anticipated visual novel game, which is of course Coffee Talk Tokyo, which is a spin-off of my favorite cozy visual novel game, Coffee Talk. If you've never heard of Coffee Talk before, you actually do not need to have played the other two games to enjoy this one, because this one's actually a spin-off, so there's going to be an entirely new cast of characters, a new story, so you don't need to know the previous. But it is a talking simulation and coffee and tea brewing game where you are getting to know a cast of characters, and based off of the different types of drinks you make them, determines how the story is going to unfold. This one, however, is not set in Seattle like the first two games, it's actually set in Tokyo. So because of that, we should expect a whole new lineup of drinks and ingredients and a whole lot of fun. It's set in a fantastical world with magical creatures, and it touches on really deep stories, even though it's set in this magical realm. If you've never played the first two Coffee Talk games, I definitely recommend them, but if not, definitely check out the new one in 2025. And there you guys have it. That was my 2025 Cozy Gaming Guide. I want to know your thoughts down below. Let me know not only what games are you most interested in, but what category of games feels like your kind of style. For me, I definitely like all of these categories a lot, but I do tend to like the farming sims and visual novels the best. But let me know what you think down below. And what other games are you most excited about in 2025 that I didn't mention? Because, you know, I didn't get them all. Be sure to click the lovely little like button on your way out, as well as subscribe for more cozy gaming content. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye!